interesting guy, a pretty impressive resume. Apparently, he was involved in the Fed system, the Fed governor. When he was 35 years old, youngest ever. Apparently, he has, in recent times, been a little bit more in the camp of believing that we could do more in terms of lowering rates. And a couple of things I noticed in terms of the articles about him is that he's actually given speeches where he suggested that there needs to be a regime change as it relates to the Federal Reserve. And he, in fact, specifically accuses the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell's Federal Reserve, of being a little too heavy relying on data. And then the other thing that he has been known to say is that he thinks we should rethink inflation, what he calls dogma, which I think that's accurate. If you think about it, when you look at what the Fed's been doing, of course, we just had a Fed meeting earlier this month in January, and they decided no change in the Fed funds rate. It was left unchanged when, a few months ago, there was a pretty strong prediction it was going to drop by 0.25%. Didn't happen. And I think this new nominee is, in his way of thinking, maybe we're getting a little bit too hung up on inflation, as he calls it, dogma. The target is 2%. We've been running pretty consistently around 2.6, 2.7 for quite a while now. That's a heck of a lot better than when we were at 9% a few years ago, right, during the previous administration. So really, we've come down from over 9, and we're less than a point away from the target of 2. Does that still require being as restrictive as the Fed has been up till now? I think this new nominee would suggest otherwise. And so in that respect, if he ends up getting the job, that could be good for us in terms of the Fed funds rate getting lower.